A very warm welcome back to Shanghai for more live coverage of the Dota 2 Asia Championships. If you're just tuning in and you're thinking, what the heck are you guys still doing there? That's because we have tiebreakers, ladies and gentlemen. That means 11 more matches, of which we've already had a couple. VG going through into the group stages at the expense of OG, who unfortunately for them finish in the bottom 2 of Group A and are done. They don't fly home early. In fact, it's even worse than that. They get to stay and watch. I can't think of anything worse. Also, TNC have managed to overcome Optic Gaming in the first game of the tiebreakers, and we're going to see TNC in action again very shortly. We've changed up our panel a little bit. We've got a substitute in. Falter's joined us back on the panel. How you doing?
Okay.
Yeah?
I'm a little stiff. I'm in quite a lot of back pain, but...
Yeah, you're carrying us, mate, you are.
I'm not really, no. I'm not, but I'm okay. I'll be able to make through it.
Yeah? All right. This is not how we thought this day was going to go, and I'm sure it's not how Optic thought it was going to go either.
No,
had a shot at winning early, and then they just go straight to the second round of the playoffs. And now they've lost that, and they've lost the opening game of the tiebreakers.
So, I mean, what does that mean for them, at least? Now
they can still finish in the top 2.
They can still finish up.
Because it's five playing for 2 spots. So they can still finish second if they win the other 3 games that they've got left in the tiebreakers. But yeah.
It's just funny because it went from like 2 games a day or something to like they're playing like what, 5 games a day?
They'll play 4.
4, okay.
Yeah, no, actually you're right. They'll play 5, because they'd have played one earlier as well as the ones they're playing now.
I mean, that's normal for a Dota player.
Well, to be honest, they kind of put themselves in that situation too. All they really had to do was just win that game, and then they could have been done.
Just had to take care of business, but the NA in them was too much. So
yeah, they went full NA. Never go full NA. The other team in this set of playoffs, you know what I'm talking about. Don't even pretend you don't.
It's okay.
The one that surprises me a little bit is Newbee. When you look back a day ago, they were 1 and 3. We were looking at that thinking, oh my God, they might not even make it out of the group. That would be terrible for them on home soil. And here they are, a shot of finishing first.
They started 0-3.
They did.
They started 0-3. Yeah.
Like, well, what's going on with these teams?
I mean, Newbee in particular, for me, they started like switching their priorities. I feel like they made SEC more important, because a lot of the times when I saw them struggle, they were starting to pick his hero early on, and then now they're starting to save it, and it's looking much better for them.
They made SECC great again. They brought him back to those like kind of clean up, like farming momentum heroes instead of like the kind of potato-y heroes that he was playing for a little bit. I'm not sure what happened there because it felt like he was playing worse. That's why they made the switch to those like DK, DP Viper types, and then they switched him back, and this team stabilized again. So, I mean, this is a team that always they always seem to perform exactly where they should. Like, they beat the teams that they're supposed to, and they lose the teams that are like better than them. It seems to always be like the Newbee situation. So it's kind of like they stabilized again and went back to their regular place.
Yeah. The other team I want to talk about is TNC. 2 games ago, if they'd lost, they would have been in a playoff with OG to stay in the tournament. As it was, they won their game, which meant they're now in a playoff to finish first, and they've just beaten Optic.
Yeah, their mid player Armel, he's been the talk of the town right now. He's been playing really, really well. Even in the games that they're losing, he's been, impressing people. Had a good showing on Park, played really well on the Sniper. Has a wide variety of heroes that he loves to play.
I got a chance to cast them like a couple of times, and I was really impressed with not only their teamwork, because how active they are with the 2 supports. Like, even when they're playing like disruptors and stuff, Cuckoo's been moving around a lot on the map. But their warding game for me has been like actually one of the best at this tournament. They're getting very deep wards in at like very early stages in the game and reading the map movements really well and adjusting because of that. It's been really a pleasure to watch them play at that top level.
I mean, they're like one of the only teams that actually like to do like their off lane. So it's always those kind of like Sand King, Nyx, Bad Rider. Very little team fight, but heroes that can keep going, keep fighting.
They don't go for like the tanky frontliner. It's always like an initiator, right? Because this team is probably the most entertaining team to watch for me. Like, they always play so fast, and they're always just fighting into the enemy. They always run at you. They're willing to sacrifice having a frontliner or a tower hitter to do that. And as a result of that, like Fox said, if you take those constant fights and rotations early, it gives you the opportunity to smoke and drop the deep wards to set up the next round of fights. So they're really good at that. Speaking of Armel, like, again, we've seen whether it's a puck, whether it's more of a farming core, like this guy plays very well out of the mid position. And then it's very telling that before the guy, I think it was Cuckoo, who was playing mid, right? Like, if you're moving a fairly established and successful mid player out of mid for somebody else, that other new guy who's coming in is probably pretty good. And in this case, I mean, Armel has been amazing, like win or lose.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the like having a frontliner too. You both were saying, and I feel like they don't pick a frontliner, but they're just like, doesn't matter. We're just gonna have our other player. He's going to build the items to itemize to be that
That's why
frontliner.
against them, you want to have a vision hero. You have this vision hero to control their movements because they're always like moving really quick on the map, and they don't rely on cooldown, so they rely a lot on their vision. He mentioned they're really good wards, so like Beastmaster, this kind of Night Stalker heroes, or maybe even Invis heroes could be really good at scouting their movements, and you need to make sure, they're oversight on here on the map, they're really strong now, we avoid them, we dodge them, we farm on the other side and wait for our timings.
Okay. Just while we wait for the draft for this game, why don't we talk about the other teams that are in this tiebreaker group? We've got Liquid, Optic, TNC, LGD, and Newbee. I think if you're going to pick out two teams to qualify, if that was a 5-team group at any other tournament, you'd probably pick Liquid and LGD to go through, wouldn't you? At any other tournament. Forget the fact that it's a tiebreaker right now and we've already had these matches this week. If we went to a new tournament, if that was the group, five-team group,
yeah,
you'd pick Liquid and LGD,
I would
surely.
put Liquid and LGD, yeah.
Maybe Optic. There's a chance for Optic there.
After seeing them.
And maybe Newbee as well, depending on which version turns up. And also, I guess, maybe TNC, depending on which version of them turns up. So those are the three slight outsiders, but they're all very closely matched here, and that's proven by the group stage results.
Yeah. It's great to watch Dota when all the teams are really close. You get to notice the very small little details that this team is slightly better. They're doing this department a little bit better. Everything becomes very apparent. So good Dota, can't complain.
Yeah, I think the only complaint I've got is that I wish we could have followed Group A all week.
I did. I got to cast Group A the whole time.
Yeah, we had to alternate to be fair and nice on the panel. And no disrespect to Group B, but it kind of finished how you'd expect it to finish. I don't know if we can bring Group B's final results up just while we're waiting. But you said earlier, Jack, it'd be weird if Virtus.pro win against Secret, because then it'll be like a symmetrical group, and that's exactly how it finished. Actually, Virtus.pro was 7-0, Mineski 6-1, EG 5-2, then 4-3, 3-4, 2-5, 1-6-0-7.
That's pretty.
That's actually
that actually
the
looks
perfect
really nice.
group. Yeah, when it happens like that, round robin's fine, but it rarely happens like
Balance.
Very, very well balanced group, or just too top heavy.
Yeah, that's kind of true too.
Who thought that Mineski was going to play that well?
Sure, but you could easily switch Mineski with Secret, and that would still be a symmetrical.
Fair. Good point.
Yeah, it's literally the cleanest you could possibly have it and the messiest that you could possibly have.
Almost. So. What if we'd had 8 teams all tied and we just played the whole group again today? See, things could be worse. If you think it's a lot of time and we've got to be here late.
You mean things could be better?
I would say they would be better. Jack would say they'd be better. Winter wouldn't say they would be better.
Ruin all the plans we had.
What plans did you have?
Our dinner plans got ruined.
Dinner plans.
Oh, dinner plans. No. See, it was just swimming pool and massage for me. I was fine.
The pool's very nice.
The pool is nice, is it?
Very
good.
nice.
I'm glad you've done that caster life stuff and enjoyed the pool.
I was in there for 20 minutes. Come on, give me a break, man. I tried to experience a little bit of it, but
yeah.
I like what Lacoste was saying earlier when he was saying like we've got a tournamentception. That was really good. Because that's actually what's happened during all these tiebreakers now.
Yeah, just replay the whole of Group A. Especially with the weird results we had today. King Gaming winning that game against Optic earlier. Now imagine, Optic are now in this tiebreaker, right? All they had to do was beat the worst team in the group who'd lost every game bar one.
I'm concerned for them too, because that's probably going to stick in their head throughout the entire day while we're playing all these tiebreakers. It's probably just like, why did we do this? Why didn't we just play cleaner?
Why are we still here?
Yeah. And now they've lost to TNC, which means they can't afford to lose any more games for Optic. But we are going to get into our second game of the tiebreakers, Newbee versus TNC. Fog, do we take anything from the previous meeting this week? Does it make any difference?
Who ended up winning that one?
Newbee did.
Newbee won that one, right?
Yeah. And it was on the first day. I think that was the only one they won of the originals, wasn't it?
The thing for me is, like, I think both teams have improved a lot throughout the group stages, but I actually think TNC for me has improved a little bit more. So I'm liking TNC in this matchup.
Okay.
I think the way the first game went was TNC do TNC things, and Newbee managed to stabilize just barely. I think they had like the Underlord Pugna kind of battery that they've been running a lot, where it's like you can't kill this Underlord because there's Pugna. But I think that was a game with the Nyx as well, with the Aghanims on Kaka, where eventually they just could not take a fight anymore or crack high ground. So that was kind of one of those situations where they can punish the lack of balance from a TNC draft that wants to go like 60 miles an hour or whatever, 100 miles an hour all the time. So that's basically the big question in this game. Can Newbee stabilize in time to stop TNC and with a better balanced composition?
I think the bigger question could be the mid lane, the Armel against SCCC. Like, how are their teams going to set up them for success? Are they going to give them help, or they're just going to try to, because TNC has been trying to help their offlane a lot in the group stages. In a lot of the games, they are going to SMH, giving him a good start so that he can play that very fast-paced game with a good timing on his dagger. There was this one game he was at 7 minutes. He had drums and bottle boots on Bat Rider. That was how farm he was.
And also, Tim's that game was he was the Sand King, right? And he got like a 10-minute Blink Dagger and 11-minute Blink Dagger as well. I think it's really crucial for them to have those dual lanes, though. The TNC dual lane and the off lane for me is the thing that I'm always looking at. Because SamH, I say time and time again, when he's alone, he really struggles. But it's like the off lane thing, right? So it's understandable.
I like this ban here from TNC because it forces Newbee to pick their poison. I think they either ban the Sand King or the Bat Rider, and the other one gets immediately picked up by TNC to open things off here.
Naga has been a very popular couple of bans, opening bans for teams against Newbee.
The Bat.
Lifestealer though, like early ban.
Yeah.
Probably mostly because of the Bat Rider and Newbee response
just
to
forcing that. Surprised they're waiting on the Sand King, but they not into reserve time just yet.
good opening pick. So there'll be a Tusk and Sand King available. I guess one for each.
So Sand King more than likely for TNC, I would imagine at least.
Yeah, I guess both of these teams really prioritize Sand King.
Prioritize it, yeah.
If it's Vichy, probably the Tusk, but between these two teams, they both want the Sand King very, very badly.
Yeah, they can think about the rest of this first phase a little bit more with this time. I think, again, like the Underlord is a hero that does very well against that playstyle. Because you actually have the mobility to get to fights and defend like far away creep waves, and you can hold your towers very well. So I think that's something that Newbee would probably place pretty high priority in against TNC.
Yeah.
And there's also the Puck here, so that's probably what they're thinking about as well. Newbee might be thinking, all right, if you take Puck or Sand King, we might just take the other one off the board instead. So TNC has not shied away from taking that first pick Puck when it is available.
They're taking their time for this first pick already.
Thinking about the SK?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tiny's left in the pool too, but I don't know if Newbee's actually going to take that one this time.
Tiny, Rubik. So they'll go for the Rubik. Like
Rubik for Sand King.
Just really good against the Sand King. And this is the
adaptation.
The replacement for Sand King we've been discussing about in the first day of the new patch. We sort of like speculated this might be a really, really good upcoming pick right now. Like you even said it could be a carry.
Yeah, I was saying that. I mean, I still think maybe it could be. It's a little slow, but like, I don't know. We'll see. I don't think so. I think for me, I've seen actually teams when Sand King was also popular like ages ago and Slardar was a little bit better. It was the matchup that they would look for. They'd pick the Slardar into the Sand King at all times just to. It's just a good like favorable matchup because also the Corrosive Haze always keeps tabs of the Sand King if you're actually able to find him at first.
But back then the stun was better for Slardar.
Early Terrorblade for TNC. I guess they figure that's a second phase ban.
And also a response to Slardar because Slardar amplifies the physical damage. Terrorblade has very high base armor, so you don't really care so much about that. And you build Manta, so generally a go-to item against Slardar. There goes the Puck ban that TNC really likes.
That's a nice change up here. Again, like this is a core that they play very aggressively, helps you take the towers when you do get those early skirmishes going your way. Also discourages some of the Newbee picks. I mean, they take a Gyro pretty much without hesitation, or even a Luna, but you know, Terrorblade has answers against that. So
they're gonna have to like do like some Tide or some Underlord. Those are the
one of the two
better ones against the Terrorblade. Since Bat Rider is also out, those are currently the two remaining.
Yeah, I was thinking the Underlord, because it's also like a pipe builder versus Sand King. Atrophiori is going to be great, and always being able to push and clear out those illusions quickly.
Yeah, I kind of like Underlord with Slardar, like Tide with Slardar.
And they replace it with the Tide, of course.
It's not as good, but that's the second best thing they have right now here for their lineup.
Tell you something that's not banned right now that both of these teams have worried about in previous matches between each other is the Omni.
10 seconds.
I mean, Omni did get like quite a few nerfs, but some teams like VP, they don't really care. They've been running a position 1 Omni.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
The hero
Omni
is-
was banned in the game between these two at DAC.
What Cuckoo hero do they want here? Yeah, I feel like I've been seeing him play Disruptor a lot of the times. And it's been taken out early, so...
There's a Witch Doctor
Witch
left.
Doctor is still
I
free.
think Witch Doctor's the big one
Mm.
versus the Tide because the Maledict
and the
laning
Slada as
phase.
well. Like Witch
Yeah.
Doctor is also pretty good against that hero.
Yep.
It's a brawler, and I just associate that hero with like the old MVP team, where it's kind of this SCA philosophy of like
Little bit
Slada. This is the
tough,
Slada
yeah.
response as well, like building even more armor and obviously having the save against Terrorblade. That's great.
Yeah, Grave Sunder. Very nice.
It's also like because they got their Terrorblades, that's kind of like the committed safe lane pick against the Tide. You usually don't want these like kind of like melee or physical only heroes against the Tide, but the Dazzle can potentially turn the tables on that. as well, so
Poison
that-
touch.
Yes, I can turn the wave, so I can turn
Yeah.
turn the wave the lane around a little bit against the Tide that would normally cause huge problems there.
And later stages, you can't dispel it with Kraken, so you actually have ways to bring down this Tide Hunter in the midst of the fights.
So Terrorblade answers. We've seen Timber. We've seen Tinker in the past.
Pugna.
Pugna.
I think Newbee could look at the Pugna, even though...
But,
Yeah, no, they won a
but don't you
couple
think
games
like
with it.
Pugna with Slada would be a bit...
Yeah, it's not really the greatest. But you get vision at least.
yeah,
It's the ways to get the
guess so.
chase.
Bee's turn to pick.
Oh.
Monkey King, huh? That's really interesting. It's good synergy
It's-
with the amplify damage, the corrosive haze.
But it's usually you usually see it versus something. Usually you want to see the offlaner before you actually pick that
Yeah.
hero up. So that's a little bit strange to me for them going that one.
And China is used as a core counter against a lot of illusion cores. You see against like Phantom
true.
Lancer. So in this case, probably Terrorblade as well.
Newbee's turn to bet.
That is great against. That's a off. I think that's an off lane Veno, and Veno is really good against Monkey in the lane.
And it's obnoxious for Slardar to play against too.
Oh, this is such a great pick here by TNC. I think they just made it really, really difficult for Newbee to pick. That pick just... Oh, that was such a big blow. So right now they have to find a mid hero that can actually solve the lane, but they can't really even change their lanes. I mean, you generally don't really want the Monkey against the Veno.
It's their first Veno for 6 months, by the way.
I think Sniper's like another option for this draft for Newbee. The CCC
Yeah,
used to play
Sniper's
it a lot.
okay. Pretty good with the Slada, the corrosive haze.
They've got a lot of ways to protect him too with these three kind of frontliners. Monkey King kind of becomes a frontliner in a way.
Yeah, and only one hero really offers any sort of gap close.
They do have the last pick, so they'll be able to figure something really good for them. For TNC, it's gonna be an Armel hero right now. They could pick another. I think they could use maybe another initiator. Like so far, Sanking's their lone initiator. Venom doesn't really offer much in that regard. He just like sits in the lane and pressures and pushes out.
There is a Queen of Pain as well, another CCC staple that they could run mid. Maybe less synergy, but that hero is going to have a pretty good game at this rate. Even like something like a Storm, that might be a bit slow. It's unlikely to be
Trying
a
to think of
TA
something
though,
for
because
Armel.
there is an SK and a Venomancer. So
Armel's played Ember Spirit here, right?
Yeah, he's played Ember. He also plays DK. DK is also great against the
Yeah.
Slada.
Ember might be too squishy actually to the Corrosive Haze and the Monkey King. Now I think about it, not really. But
actually,
It's
Ember
top
might
5
be
right now. OD, SF, DK, Tinker, Quap.
Ember might be a choice for Newbee as well. If you look at
yeah,
the
I was
banner.
thinking for either of them maybe.
Yeah, Timber's
they
nice
use that
against the
against,
Terrorblade, isn't it?
They use that against Terrorblade, and again, not that much lockdown, reliable lockdown. So
Yeah.
Turn to pick.
Is it a block pick?
No, Tiny's
it's
still on
a
the pool.
Tiny. Okay, yeah, he kind of squeaked through, didn't he? Didn't see him in any of the bands. Okay, so is it Timber?
that means that they can threaten to mid the Venomancer depending on what hero is picked here. So
But the thing is, I highly doubt they're gonna put Armel on this kind of hero though. But maybe it might still happen. Like
Do you think-
depending on the lane, if they get a good matchup, probably they'll do it. But I feel like they picked the Venom just because they want him to lane against the Monkey King. That's probably
Yeah.
the biggest reason why the Venom is here.
You still like Sniper? I still kind of like Sniper. The thing is that the Tiny can cause you problems because of just burst killing you in like one shot, but
He has like 2 bodyguards, Tide and Monkey.
Yeah.
it's down to Quap Sniper, Shadow Fiend most likely.
Quap Snipers, yeah, something that can benefit from the Corrosive Haze still.
They are all really good options there, but it depends on like maybe player preference. What does he feel that he can do more, and the lane matchup as well.
He had a great game on the Shadow Fiend earlier, but Shadow Fiend versus Terrorblade is not a good matchup in the later stages.
If they really want to go even grittier, they could get a Medusa or something as well. I mean, there's again enough protection, lockdown for it. And they can hold their towers with it.
That kind of sounds good too. They play this like slower paced game and just like Turtle and high ground. Monkey King and like Tai could maybe draw the game, like hold the game for him.
It will be the sniper.
Choose your hero.
Yeah.
We went round and round, and eventually we got back to where we started.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it looked good. It just was. It's kind of. It can be a bit scary because the Tiny, but if the Tiny gets a late blink, it's actually Tiny versus Sniper in the mid lane.
Who's gonna be favored there? Should be Sniper, right? Or no?
I think Tiny gets the last hits, but you can get kill threat because you're a melee hero, so the threat of like the shrapnels and rotations.
Okay, decision time for our panel. Jack.
I think Newbee plays pretty well against this style. They're not too greedy most of the time, so I think it's going to be a close game with a lot of kills again, but I like Newbee to take this one.
Yep, I agree. I think it's going to be also a really close game, but I feel like TNC is going to have the edge this time because of the Monkey King against the Venom matchup. I think that like if Monkey King doesn't have a good game, he's going to die and die and die, and that's going to be really hard for them.
I think I'm liking TNC. I said it before the game. I think that they've been playing better and better every game. I think this is going to be a really close one. This should be really fun.
All right,
but yeah,
okay.
I'm going to go for them.
All right. We've had our decision from our panel. The last time these two met was just a couple of days ago. It was 44-39 in a 62-minute game. Can we have some of that again, please? That'd be very nice. Thank you very much. Let's head over to the commentators and see what we get from TNC versus Newbee.
You know, Carl, from the panel, I'm hearing close one, fun. Red Eye's giving us fantastic stats from previous games as well. I feel like they're jinxing this. This could be a completely one-sided affair. But I'm hoping. I'm hoping for a good battle. I'm hoping for a good battle and not what we had in the last game.
I'm excited just because I think tiebreakers, especially when they're not elimination games, but rather to advance further in the tournament, provide a setting for like the best Dota. You have a lot of teams playing a lot of games, and there's no real pressure. You want to win, but even if you were to lose, you're still going to go to the main event and perform there. So this might actually be a huge advantage for all these Group A teams because they get way more practice.
They're coming around the corner, TNC. They move so aggressively into the Radiant jungle. Newbee, they feel something's up as Tims cuts through the tree line. We're going to work out the fact that TNC were trying to just hold the entire Radiant jungle. The Monkey King courier bait was looking for things. It's always the weirdest thing, like when you see a dodo just running out into the middle of the field, you're like, wait, hang on. What is what here? Someone's up to some mischievous behavior. So TNC will claim 2 of the bounty runes. KP is going to wait until the creep wave arrives, and he actually may wait so long that Raven gets the 3rd bounty. No, Raven's going the opposite direction.
Yeah. Faith did a little discipline, a little minor thing, but he sentried before placing his ward just to be sure they didn't place an aggressive one that would have allowed them to counter his ward.
Well, the lane matchups, which is Cuckoo wins the race. Actually, they're going to even, pop up Metamorphosis. Much damage into KP as possible. That won't happen. So the matchup that you weren't looking for Newbee was actually being changed up. So I thought I saw Monkey King in the middle before, but you now got Moogie down the bottom lane. Sniper goes towards the mid, and Kaka's already rotated in, and the rotations keep going. Sam H is now running down south.
Yeah, this benefits Newbee, though. I think they had him skill Gale first on Veno, and I think that he's not strong enough to really contest a tri-lane bottom with Sand King. I think they can just run at him with both supports, and they should win this lane on Newbee. Up top, KP got the pull, so he's already doing well. He's going to be level 2 right away.
Didn't get as much experience as I thought he would have. Cuckoo was actually trying to contest him and got 3 denies out of that creep wave that he pulled. So at least underneath the tier 1 tower, KP will be fine. As long as Cuckoo can stop denying him out. There's 5 deniers in his lane in a minute and a half already.
It's going to be an interesting game. The timing is really just all about these team fights around Roche. Both teams have the ability to do it pretty easily. I like the Sniper last pick a lot. I think it was the perfect pick. You got a Rubik and a Slardar. It's perfect synergy with Sniper. You amp both sources of his damage.
SCC is actually rotating over a little bit. Are they going to try and catch out Tims? Kaka's got another crush available, which is going to let off. SCC, he's got the range as well as headshot, and looks for the last little hit. And Tims, Burrow Strike, gets some range, but not enough. Not against the Sniper. So first blood gets spilled by Newbee. They rotated pretty heavily over for this. And now SECC, because Kaka, look at that high movement speed. He can come up for the crush, can steal the bounty rune, and by keeping the vision up on the high ground, SEC will miss once, but he won't miss the second time. Getting up the hill and now claiming the double.
And they swap lanes in the meantime. A really intelligent move by Newbee there, specifically SCCC. You always want to look to rotate for kills if you're going to rotate lanes, and they do just that.
Nice to see Newbee actually doing like proper rotation, intentional kind of plays, and not just playing reactionary like we have seen a little bit more in this tournament.
I think they really found their groove. What did they start? Like they went 0-3, were they? They were 1-3, and now they're 4-3. So, I mean, they've definitely sharpened their style.
Yeah, it was not a good first day. They lost to VG as well as Optic on day 1. Well, looks like Tim's caught in the tree line once more. Faith right behind him, and with Mugi prepping up the attacks, the Gale will connect. But Sam H can do very little apart from Pop a Banana.
Yep. So they still leave 2 cores here, but Slardar was in mid the whole time, gaining XP and CS, so it's not like they lost anything out of the mid lane.
Out of all the games that Newbee were losing, like they lost to VG, they lost to Optic, then they lost to LGD. Their first game they won was actually against TNC in the group stage, and that's when things turned around for them, because then they beat OG and they beat KG as well. After that, their loss to Liquid today, however, was a little bit. Sorry, no, their victory against Liquid today also happened. So yeah, they've actually been undefeated since TNC turned them around.
Yeah, this game, it's already looking at, even though Newbee has the kills, TNC is still with the gold advantage. And when I think TMC, it's the Armel and Raven show, and both of them are having exceptional games. And I think that Raven's Terrorblade, especially since he's very comfortable going this like Blink BKB build, is going to be super strong in this game.
Armel. Well, hang on. That's not what he wanted to toss.
Yeah.
Trying to toss Mugi back into the Burrow Strike of Tim's and have him isolated underneath the Tier 1 tower. But just failing the combination a little bit. But yeah, Raven's a good person to watch.
Yep. Also, Armel's going for the 2 points tree grab. Probably max that out later, and it makes it a lot stronger for him to lane against this Monkey King, a hero that traditionally punishes melee heroes very hard.
I don't know if Kanka actually saw that. The Observe Ward from Tim's was placed down right in front of him. They'll need a little bit more help if they want to get this. That's why Rubik is rotating over, so Faith is on his way. Kanka has given them all the information they require. Have to be careful about that toss back into Tim's. Invis has got another 5 seconds left on it. And Faith wants to inch a little bit further forward, so now the SK is actually left. They have a chance to kill off Armel, but nope.
That was a very strange. I feel like you want to at least try that, right? Get some harass damage.
Yeah, you spent that much time.
Yeah.
You're going to expend 95 mana. Like that's the worst case scenario. KP being dived on the top. Cuckoo and Raven teaming up together with a Shadow Wave damage. That's a hell of a lot. Cuckoo needed also the life to survive the tower, but now he comes in range of the creep wave. If there's another TP support, it's Kaka. In from the side. He's got the sprint. He's got the movement speed. Cuckoo's got the Shallow Grave. Crush one. Needs a secondary hit. Oh, yeah, she gets the Shadow Wave off first, then Shallow Grave. Yes! Actually gets the return kill thanks to Raven's damage in Metamorphosis form. Kaka will drop, and TNC get themselves on the board.
Well played by Cuckoo. Core player that recently transitioned to hard support. Still has a lot of talent, just usually not as many items.
So the lanes can start to settle down a little bit more. Raven's using the rest of his Metamorphosis to just push the Tier 1 tower. Newbee even feeling a little bit more defensive. Popped their fortification. Probably not really essential.
They're just dueling for some bounty runes up top. But Raven is super farmed right now, and that's always a bright spot for TNC. I think he's their most important player.
He's the #1 net worth. Only a little bit ahead of the Sniper, however, who is going to be able to at least deal with the Terrorblade from range. If he can keep the distance from the Tiny. Mid lane, they're going in onto that Tiny. Mugi, I'm not feeling too comfortable about this. With the tree toss, it's just enough damage. Mugi probably thought he was still good in all of this. And now they go again. Crush out. Fate's got the level 2 Fade Bolt. There should be enough with one more attack, and then Fade Bolt up. No, it's not. His resistance is just too good. The attack from Faith will do the work. Kaka under the tower. Is that last attack going to kill him? He's got the distance, and he's got the speed.
You intentionally saying distance and speed because of the song?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going the distance. He's going for speed.
It's a
He's
great
all
song.
alone
Mm-hmm.
in a time of need. I don't even know if that's the rest of the lyrics. I'm just making it up as I go along.
You got the line that matters.
If you actually listen closely to most of my casts, I put in a lot of 1990s references. I was doing it before. I don't think anyone noticed it because I only do half the reference. Easter eggs.
Just waiting for the right co-caster to come along. Notice all the hard work you've put in.
Yeah, because none of the listeners know.
Big stack bottom they're going to take with Sand King and Venom. He actually blows the Gale on it too. Just to actually just
Kanga's willing to mess with them. They got Sniper in the neighborhood, so Faith just needs a bit of a control. The shrapnel, it's a little bit too short. So Tims and Sam H get back to the tier 1 tower safely.
I think they could have gone for a kill there if they had been a little more patient. Sniper with ultimate ready. They just needed to do a bit more damage.
I needed Rubik to get closer before the initiation of Kaka, but they can contest for the 8-minute bounty runes. And TNC will be pretty much where they cannot do anything about this.
I favor... It's a strange game. I think both teams have a lot of ability to like take objectives, but I look at TNC's lineup and I feel like if they get ahead and get tempo, like they can just run over this game because Venomancer is going to secure the like fighting grounds for his team. And it's so difficult to play heroes like Tide and Slardar that rely on blinks to initiate.
They're going up to Sam H. Tims has to help out. The Gale will connect over on 2. Tims trying to line up for the double burrow. He won't get it. Sam H in the tree line space, going to stay on his tail. The Plague Ward blocks him out. They need some vision. They don't see him. There it is, the assassination. SCCC can connect. It's now, okay. He actually left. Sniper went all the way back.
Yeah. I thought he was going to cancel that TP for sure.
Yeah, like he could have stuck around and continued to battle into Tims, but with his departure, okay, they just reset the lane up a little bit more. The Gale was wearing off, so it wasn't that.
It might be just because he wants to rotate to mid lane, which would make sense. And if you can get a kill on this Tiny, it will be 100% worth.
Well, Mugi's ready, goes for the jump. Karka's coming in from behind, doesn't have that sprint available just yet. He'll hit the water, then finds Cuckoo, and because he went for Cuckoo, he dodges the avalanche of Armel. A secondary shrapnel and assassination. Cuckoo will shallow grave. So Mugi and Karka just have to stay with him, hold the hand until death, and maybe Armel can do absolutely nothing. He can watch.
Right choice, though. You don't want to get too involved. Maybe die to a sniper as well.
The rotations happen again. KP's getting a decent amount off this top lane. He doesn't have a lot of mana to work with yet, but he's holding on to a large amount of cash. So no early arcane boots from him, which is kind of what you would expect. He's just using the stick charges instead. But he's got 1,500 gold on this Tidehunter. This could be a very quick blink if he feels the desire to rush it.
I don't know.
Yeah, would you ever rush it?
I don't think you can. You can get it like second or third item depending on the game.
He bought Treads and 2 Clarities.
Meh. That's okay. I mean, Treads is a bit weird. I don't see that very often. You do get 250 damage at level 25 as a talent, so maybe he's thinking for the future.
Thinking well far ahead. Venomancer's just thinking about the now. Really clapped up, trying to cut through the tree line. Mugi will finish him off.
Oh, there's a TB smoked.
Oh, Tims, Raven, they're going to come in from the side. They want to get Mugi. As target number 1, Sunder still available for the Terrorblade. Mugi starts the TP! He actually gets out! They didn't have the damage thanks to the lift from Faith. Raven probably just needed one more attack to make this work. Now it's Faith and Karka, defensive behind the tower. TP supports on the way. It's SCCC putting down the shrapnel. Tims, he's amplified up. They need to keep the distance away, but SCCC, he needs more help. He's looking to assassinate Watt. He goes for Cuckoo. That's point blank range. Raven still with a double kill, sitting in the tree line. 3 euros lost from Newbee. They just had Mugi leave this fight, and I'm surprised they decided to go back in with 3 heroes against this push of TNC.
Yeah, and it's a lot of it is because the Tide wasn't able to get involved. He has so much gold. He has 1,200 gold and then 1,000 coming to him on the courier. So not quite sure what that was, but if they have a TP and a Ravage there, maybe they turn that around.
Well, he's going after Cuckoo now. The Treads now just fly in too, so high-low, higher movement speed, and Cuckoo, you've got Gush in 1 second, and he is not going to continue to chase. Uncertain about what support could be coming the way from TNC.
And this is real scary for Newbee. I think Raven's just too far ahead of the game at this point. And I've seen Terrorblade win so many games from this sort of position. All he needs to do now is buy the right items. And I was speaking with EG the other day, and they're all of the opinion that of all the heroes in Dota right now, TB is the one that is most important to go the proper item build. And if you do that, victory is nearly guaranteed, but it is very easy to make a mistake on the hero.
Well, he's off to a fantastic start, no doubt about that. At the same time, Newbee, like, they have a good start for the Tidehunter, and I normally say, like, Newbee are a great team once KP can actually be a factor. And that's exactly what KP is building in towards. He's gonna be the pipe. He's gonna be the coat that protects you from the Venomancer. Sam H is now going to be under attack as well. Faith and Kaka rotated over. The smoke breaks, and the Plague Ward will attack him. So this whole rotation gets blown by one Plague Ward and a Venomancer in the right position. There's Moogie. Okay. Bouncing around the trees. They're trying to cut him down. He's just keep leaping. Oh, Raven. He cut the right one. Problem is he doesn't know he did. So Moogie can get back up into the forest.
Armel finishes the blink, of course, so now they have this ability to just run around the Radiant jungle as two. Probably connect on this mid tower pretty soon. And they want to just keep killing the sniper. He's the guy that will actually defend base and fight for objectives.
Armel actually found Sniper's stack too. A stack of Ancients, which he lowered down, so then Raven can finish the job. He'll trigger Metamorphosis and then push towards the mid-tier 1 tower. KP is now moved towards the mid lane. The tankier one, Sniper, is able just to back out to relative safety. It's probably the safest point for Newbee, for SDCC to continue his farming.
Yeah. They're on a Radiant ward, unfortunately, so all their movement's going to be sniffed out. They won't be able to actually get a kill down bottom.
And unless Moogie puts himself in a bad spot. Mel is walking down for the moment.
Yeah.
And the rest of Newbee are starting to rotate, so KP and Faith are going to head into their own jungle. I don't know if they understand if TNC had a ward down, because they did have theirs down first. It's actually, sorry, it's the TNC ward was down first.
And it looks a little strange that they wasted meta, but it's not really a waste when you consider how much faster he farms for this period. And it's always better to use the spell than just to hold it and farm wood slower.
They seem to be really preparing him as well. Like, Armel does most of the damage to these. Okay, now he's actually taking the last hits from it. I'm like, they're really trying to make it so Terrorblade can finish up his Manta style, and nope. Tunny's a hungry boy. Gotta get that Echo Saber up and running.
It's more just the speed. Whenever you have those annoying regen speeds, you want to make sure they die before the Ancient stack takes way too long. They still have Ravage. Like, they haven't used Ravage this game, right?
Nope, not once.
That's the downside of Tidehunter, is that if you can't get involved, it feels just bad. And now he's just walking around with Tread's Hood. So yeah, he's tanky, but there's nothing to do but farm creeps right now.
Well, so far there hasn't been a real opportunity for it. Like, TNC are always moving as 2 or 3 maximum. And by the time that you can see the team fight is coming, it's kind of too late for him. And you're looking for the bigger items. This is something which KP does a lot too. He doesn't get involved in the engagements early on. For the primary reason, he wants to finish up all the survivability items and then have the team fight that Newbee gets. Like, it's the guards, right? Monkey King, Slider, Tidehunter. They all create distance for SDCC to do the work, but they need the survivability first. This means you need the pipe, you need the mech, you need whatever. This all has to arrive. Kaka is going to go for like a Blink Dagger after his Tranquil, so he's the initiation, he's the focus boy.
Just a very stagnant game, and up top you see Veno's just been trading with whoever's against him in lane for about 5 minutes now, as his team is now smoked up in the Radiant jungle, probably looking to connect on this mid tower. It's all about killing the sniper. The Rubik popped the smoke though, and also has a sentry down for the ward they just placed on the high ground, but they did not see Tiny.
Yeah, SDCC's going to back up right now. They're way too far forward. They get a pickup already. They get the kill onto Danzel, so at least that Shallow Grave's taken out, but SDCC, with the Mask of Madness triggered, just dropped so quickly, and goodbye Faith. Raven, they did not, actually they saw the Terrorblade, but still they willingly went into the fight.
Yeah, that was very strange. I thought for sure they'd play at least a little more conservatively.
Kaka has Blink, so top lane, they're going to jump in towards Sam H. Moogie just lets out the Wukong command, but Armel made his way up, so they do get the kill onto the Venomancer. Toss damage from Armel gets the rebuttal. And this with the Creep Wave and all the Plague Wards. TNC at the position of power, they'll take the tier 1 tower as well.
It's so hard to take favorable trades into TNC if you don't catch them with their pants down, because Veno is like nearly an impossible hero to kill without taking some sort of a turn. And if they initiate on the sniper, he dies.
Waiting for SDCC to actually try and kill off that Tiny, but he's not powerful enough yet. Like, he's getting closer to having the Dragon Lance. Increase that range at least Is it wonderful, actually, if it's worth it for him to finish up the full Hurricane Pike as well? This early on, or is it worthwhile, like, just amping up the damage a little bit more into Maelstrom?
It's hard. I feel like you want the Pike, but you're already behind. And when you go for conservative items when you're behind, it's like it just becomes harder for you to win the game because now you don't have the damage to keep up or accelerate. And you're kind of all in on this like perfect fight.
Well, SCC has gone many glass cannons in the past, like glass cannon snipers, and he's just trusted in his team to do work. Okay, that Observer Ward going down at the wrong position. Actually, it's up on the high ground, so they didn't actually see it getting planted, but with a smoke break, Mel blinks away before KP can do anything about it. SCC is going to finish up this mid tower. TNC not looking like they have a huge desire to fight. They have 3 heroes coming in. Nice crush over towards Tims, and then you'll end up stealing Burrow Strike, but Tims burrows and blinks away to safety. Yep. Mid tower was mopped up in the meantime, but then again, you've got a big push coming from Raven on top. He will force into the tier 2 tower. He's not going to burn Metamorphosis just yet, but he's got the Venomancer as buffer.
Breaks the smoke.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gale, as well as Nova. Kaka, he wants to amplify and get a bit of revenge kill, and mid lane, Epicenter onto KP. He's the one that can tank through most of this. He doesn't want to burn that ultimate of his. While up on top, the Venomancer's being pushed away. KP does go down. The Venomancer solo Faith. He's got Feybolt off cooldown. And with the Corrosive Haze on him, you say it's going to be enough. So a 1-for-1 trade-off the Venom for the Tidehunter.
The bottom though. Mugi going down.
Oh, that is... How is that part of the plan?
He just a sick reflection and just chases him down. Monkey King really can't do anything to a Terrorblade this farm, even with the Battle Fury.
Mel's jumping on mid, so he's going to take out the slider onto the tier 2. Crush and amplification. TP support's on the way from the Rubik. Cuckoo's nearby, and so is Tims.
Yeah, TNC playing so well around the map. As you said, like they can't really, they still haven't used Ravage because they can't. Raven's just running around the map, farming, pushing lanes, finding kills, and Sam H is just so annoying. By standing on a high ground with 1 ward, he forces a Slider to TP all the way to base by just using all his spells.
The fight is over before Newbee can react to it or become as 5. But then how do you deal with this? Like, so do you willingly then take the fight if you're Newbee? Can you force an engagement with the heroes that you've got? And are you willing to take the trade-off, which could be TNC just wrecking your side lanes? Yeah, like they're going to go again onto mid. Like, KP is such a juicy target. Okay, no, they're not. The Tiny doesn't have enough life for it. So they just take bottom lane with Raven.
It's just the downside of Monkey King as a hero. Once you fall behind, you're a snowballer. And the moment you fall behind and you're still going to go this Aquila Battle Fury because you just need these items to accelerate, you're a creep now. Like, he still has just 10 armor, and he's very susceptible to just anything. And they don't farm as fast either.
Kaka, he's trying to get the Corrosive Haze out into Tim, so at least they can keep track of where he's moving. The Venomancer is nearby. It gives him an extra little bit of a nudge. That's the 4-staff already on Veno. Sam H with 4-staff and Veil with another 1,100 gold available.
Yeah. Blink Echo up on Armel as well. He's going to go AC next. And Raven's just, he has Scotty finished. He is so farmed.
They're doing Roshan. With a level 4 Plague Ward stolen by Faith, they can actually get some really good vision around the pit. Yeah. Nice thing too is those Plague Wards actually carry the Poison Sting effect.
Here comes the smoke though.
Yep. Can TNC contest this? Maybe this is the first time that Newbee can finally use a Ravage. Raven into the Metamorphosis. They see the backline. Sam H, he gets the Nova off onto the backline. 4-staffs it away. They really can't control him. Instead, it's Newbee losing Slaughter and the Rubik. TNC, they've already got 1 win in this tiebreaker. And if they keep playing like this, they are moving a lot closer to a second.
Yeah. If you're Newbee, you have to try and bait them in a little further and take a huge fight with Ravage and Monkey King Ultimate. It's really your only chance.
Roshan's really low. Monkey King can see it. The Wukong Commander's out. KP needs to pop this Ravage. He's only got 2 in range, and he's being slowly kited out. The Ravage will never come. There's no buyback available. Tim's tried to solo up against Mugi, but it won't be enough until Armel arrives to finish the job that was begun. Kaka is here. Does he just go for a YOLO play? No, it's too late. Roshan belongs to TNC. Haggis him all in the hands of the Terrorblade. And Kaka, as well as Faith, they can't have this happen once again. It's an aggressive weave out from Cuckoo. So this armor starting to be stripped away from them with the tree toss. Kaka, 10 HP, another one! Oh, Sam H from downtown. He hits the money.
They're actually playing so smooth right now on TNC. They have not made a mistake. Their map movement's great, their vision's great, they're playing around objectives well, the item choice is on point.
How does Newbee even take this fight? Okay, we can. I was like, okay, I heard replay. I'm here. I'm like, we get to watch KP being completely denied of his Ravage, but nope, it's the slow motion and stretch it.
Yeah. He actually died to the toxicity before the ward even hit, but it's style points.
It looked like fun, right?
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, but how? Like KP, like he almost had to go blind Ravage. Like, and maybe that's it. Like. I feel like it almost cursed him a little bit, saying, "Hey, KP can be a useful hero, a useful player in this game because he got the Ravage, because he was able to get like the hood up nice and early, so he can tank through a lot of the magical damage that is there from TNC. But without his control factor, this is really nothing, and there's too much pressure on Kaka.
Yeah, and also, KP is like 0-2-0. It's great that he's got hood and he can tank through stuff, but they just don't play into him. And that's what TNC does, I think, better than most teams in Dota right now, where they understand their win conditions and they don't give Newbee the fights that they've been looking for this entire time. Raven specifically is like arguably the best Terrorblade in the world. Like the way he positions himself and moves, like you could see him just killing people from the very edge of that Monkey King ult and also protecting his dazzle. He knows he has no fear whatsoever.
Yeah. I also wonder too, like if it's the starting position, like you see Newbee stretch into two different parts. The Venomancer came in from the north, so they had two players move north, and then the rest were fighting around their ancient ramp area. And KP caught in the middle of all of it, going, well, I'm looking for a big five-man fight. They may get one now to pick up from Rubik. It's nice, but Armel, nicer. Tree toss, a little bit astray. Faith wants to keep juking it, but Raven jumping forward. Faith, stay in the fog.
Yep. That's a DD Blink Terrorblade, by the way, so they're going to just melt the base, and if SCCC shows for even a second, he's going to just pop like a piñata.
Well, he's having to come back. There's no choice here. The defense is on. May even be worth a Rubik buyback as Raven, that double damage Metamorphosis pops up, tossing things forward. You can chip a little bit. Shrapnel can slow it down with a gush. I haven't even thrown out a Shrapnel charge, SCCC. Well, he doesn't have one yet. It's got to come back off cooldown. So wait for the fight. KP can't move forward. Even standing on the front lines, he's very, very cautious about doing such a thing. And Armel, this is the reason why. Pull him back into Raven with the slow KP. Well, there's Ravage #1. Actually connects over on 3. Armel with the monkey slap. He's going to drop low, but Cuckoo, the backline medic, already there. Raven going to switch the life with his dazzle. As Armel gets to survive, it's only going to be the Venomous Gale, so he cannot tick out from this. That was the one that was stolen by Faith.
And they use the meta, though, but they get a ton of damage on the tier 3 and Ravage, so I think you have this small window, 20 seconds where you'll have meta but no Ravage, but at the same time, it's one of those all too common scenarios in Dota right now where you have this massive lead, you don't need to force the initiative.
Yep.
Chill, outfarm, maybe next Roche, win the game then.
Yep. What if Raven has, he's actually going to go Butterfly next. I'm like, what if he gets something like, well, he doesn't even need BKB because Ravage isn't intimidating enough for him. At this rate, too, the supports can probably start picking up Lotus Orbs. You start seeing Dispels for that corrosive haze, so they can't even amplify targets directly.
Yeah. I have a feeling he might change it for a BKB, though, just because then he's able to actually initiate and provide the ability for his stuns to then follow up.
But you have the BKB arriving for Armel, so you're going to get that BKB initiator anyway. Like they're going to tick the box, just maybe not all in the same hero.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think if you can get a BKB on Tiny, that's probably better for your composition, and that way the TB can focus solely on buildings and just...
Oh, Kaka. He does it up on Tims. They really want to get something back here. Tims hasn't got any kills so far, but he's still worth 352. And if they can push a little harder and take this tier 1 tower, some relief money can hit the poor Newbee.
Yeah. Also, if you watch his Monkey King, he actually chose, I haven't seen many core Monkey Kings do this, but level 15, he took the 600 Tree Dance cast range talent instead of 75 Jingu Mastery. He'll do a lot less damage, but he can really leap very far.
So what a fail if you're inside your base and you can't go anywhere. This kind of pushes Monkey King into a pure split push role, but with the Battle Fury, he's pretty good at doing that. And now you get the D push, which comes from the Maelstrom of Snipers. So he did finish the Hurricane Pike first, but SDCC is getting a little bit more damage to work with. And I think he's actually looking like it's Shadow Blade. So potential Silver Edge pickup. That's an interesting Gale Sam H. Where was that one going? And now even Cuckoo can de-ward the Obs and Sentry. Ugh. Newbee just can't keep vision up. They've got one ward outside their base, and that's watching their northern jungle.
Yeah, TB did switch for BKB, by the way. I would think they can just go. They have a blink on Veno. They're going to get BKB, tiny BKB on TB, and then they can just literally all just jump. And there's going to be no counterplay for Newbee. They have absolutely no save. And other than the Ravage and the Slardar, like, how do you actually lock anybody down?
Well, the pressure is going to be applied on bottom lane. If they let this keep going, Moogie's going to continue to farm up quite nicely on the top lane. Like, you've got Slardar inside the jungle trying to get his own 4-staff. You've got Moogie continuously pressuring the tower into the tier 2, the creep wave into the tier 2. Pick off on Faith. He gets the grab on Armel, which gives him just enough space to survive. Defensive weave from TNC, so Newbee will not want to fight this, but thanks to the nice range of SDCC and the fact he's got a mix of both physical and magical now, that weave isn't the be-all, end-all. And you know Moogie wants to jump once more, once he understands where TNC is. He is just ready to keep pushing and pushing that top lane.
Yeah, the issue is that Moogie's just not really relevant in these fights right now. If they walk into his ultimate and just hang out there and maybe go on vacation, he'll kill everybody. But until then, like
he's almost got his BKB, so he's becoming more and more relevant as time goes by.
I think TNC could look to make a move like soon though. They have the BKB on Terrorblade ready, and meta's up.
You got 1 minute until Rorschach can come up. So do you wait for this as well, or you like just push now?
I think you can look to make an opportunity. You're not really in danger of ever like losing a team fight hard because there's no blink on Tide and you have a dazzle. So
here comes the push. Armel with that echo. With that echo, Saber just destroys the tier 3 town. So the racks have opened up. With Fade Bolt and all the damage they do, they clean up the wave quite nicely. The tier 2 tower, like, Newbee kind of almost need this as a trade, but TNC are backing off. They're pinging the shrines.
I like it because that tier 3 was already low, and you know that they're pressuring your top tower, so either make them take a fight like on your terms.
Blink, Burrow, support is nearby in the form of Karka. Maybe you can get this jump in with a Wukong command, but the avalanche cancelled off for half a second. Moogie needs a slap down, he couldn't get it!
Wow.
Kept being interrupted. And then 2 heroes without buyback for Newbee on the sideline. Defense, defense, defense for Newbee now is the name of the game.
Yeah, Tiny with 30 armor, so the Slardar ultimate really just doesn't affect him anymore. Bottom lane, there's still Raven, just continuing to split push, and he has that reflection talent now, so it's only a 6-second cooldown. That is game-breaking in a game like this against a sniper.
Like, how far can Sniper hold back? Just stay away from everything you possibly can. You can get rear of the mid lane. Like, that range is still ridiculous to attack, so Shrapnel, got to get rear of the illusions, fortification, slowing things down once more. They don't have the amplification. They have worked out which one is the real Raven. But as Raven has shown before, he's very willing to sunder his own teammates. There's your pushback, Sam H. He got the Nova off. A lot of damage without the assassination. Sam H will not die. SCCC just wants to regenerate. The melee racks has already been taken, so everything kind of feels like a side story. But the main story was the racks going down.
Yep, that's exactly how you want to play this lineup from TNC, though. Raven just goes in for the base, Armel a bit of a harass, and then Sam H just blinks in and zones. All of a sudden, there's no way you can contest, and in the time you're distracted by the Veno, TB's killing your Rex. Now you can just chill, wait next Roche. It'll respawn in 10, so this is actually an opening for Newbee. I think you have to force a fight in the pit here. Otherwise, you're going to be playing in your base against Aegis, and you're just going to lose that fight for sure.
Well, they have everything to fight with it. And except for the Blink Dagger on KP, he's short by about 100. He would really, really love to have that before this fight begins. So the BKB does arrive for Moogie. So the protection that Moogie's been farming up for so long. Wait, are they actually going to... They may just have to go at this. Every man inside of Roshan, maybe not the greatest idea. Leave Faith outside, leave Karka outside. They got the amplification. They're going real quick. Roshan down to 2k. Here comes TNC, the aggressive weave. They just got to get this and get the hell out of there. And that's exactly what is happening. Newbee in full retreat. They got both the Aegis and the cheese.
Yep, good play by Newbee. A huge risk, but one they had to take.
Yeah. If TNC had both Aegis and cheese, this would be almost like indefensible position for Newbee.
The only thing is it's just tough still. Like,
yeah.
The sniper's still behind.
We're not saying that this Roshan's going to be a game changer. It's more of just like a cog in the work for TNC being like pulled out.
It buys them 5 minutes.
Yep.
Now the question is, how do you use it?
Well, you use it by not defending your tier 2 tower up on top lane unless you're going to smoke out and gank. The Blink Dagger is there for Tidehunter. So making this work so KP can be relevant. You have the Gem of True Sight. There's no hiding for the SK. But they need to get the initiation. That's why I think the Blink's so important. They need to be able to stop the BKBs from just instantly coming up. Karka can at least get the crush, getting Burrow striked up as well. This is not what they needed. The Slardar down, the tier 2 tower lost, and Moogie needs to TP home very soon.
Yeah, just really well played by TNC. Continuing to attack before Newbee really has a chance to set up. And it's just tough because you have to play in such a defensive position. It almost feels like this OG Vici game all like over again, where Newbee's just sort of forced to sit here and wait. I feel like TNC makes a mistake.
I feel like there's a big difference between these two games. Is the fact that Newbee, they have heroes that can actually do things. You have stuns, you have amplifications, you have damage, you have team fight. Like all these things will start to add up and just work your way. Even the split push, which is coming in from Moogie. This is a thorn in the side of TNC that they're having to deal with every now and then.
But is it really? Look at where the creep wave is. Like, yeah, he's killing that one, but TNC still has total map control.
He's just trying to be as elusive as possible. Tim's, like, it would be the perfect catch to get Moogie when he can jump so damn far. Again, I'm not saying it's great, but I'm just saying, like, Newbee have things that they can at least do. And it's not just, I need to sit inside my base, and this is the only thing we can do as a 5-man team.
The thing is, they still don't have the ability to take a good fight unless they can get a huge Ravage. Because, while like, how do you kill Tiny or Terrorblade before Dazzle? Like, first off, how do you kill them? And then especially, how would you kill them if Dazzle's behind them with a shallow grave? That's the issue.
You got to stun both of them before their BKBs come off, and you need to actually clip the Dazzle.
Yeah.
On the back
but
lines.
You still just don't have enough damage. You're going to be still casting Monkey King ultimate. Tiny's already going to be unstunned because he's got like what, 80% status?
It's like 60. It's Sniper actually. That's actually where it's got to be. Like Sniper's going to go for a Mjolnir, so he's not going to go any kind of Silver Edge nonsense. And if he puts that onto Moogie and Moogie jumps in with the BKB on, at least then you got like the extra lightning damage in the middle of it all.
Very optimistic.
Yeah. Well, right now this is what you have to be when you're 23k like net worth behind. At least the experience is only 14,000 for Newbee, but this is like a game which could have been a lot closer. But TNC, they really just have played beautifully to get themselves to this point. Now we're talking about all the ways that they could potentially screw it up. And Observer Ward for Newbee. They have the high ground vision. Here comes your jump in. Armel going after the Monkey King. He's got the Aegis Immortal, remember, and Newbee. They kind of want to fight, but it's a 3-man crush. Karka got it. The Ravage follow-up. Can they kill the Dazzle with the Wukong command? The stuns, they just lasted forever. Sam H will get the Nova, but Raven becomes the primary target. Newbee must get rid of him if they want to fight this one, but they're being forced away by the epicenter. KP just can't tank it and survive. Moogie is back to the world of the living. Raven, I can't believe he still has Thunder through all of this. He hasn't even had to use his Manta style. Sniper, caught. There goes your damage. There goes your glass cannon. Buybacks are available for Newbee. But life is hard. They got the initiation they really wanted to get. The 3-man crush from Karka, but they just couldn't capitalize.
Yep. The issue is Veno got all his spells off, and you can try to kill Tiny, but you can't kill Tiny. In the meantime, Raven's just mopping everyone up. He's nearly 6 slotted.
They're keeping the control. What have he actually got? We have Faith with a tree grab. All right, now that's cool. They defend. So Faith's buyback alone appears to just dissuade TNC from going any further. So Newbee for that fight, for the result of it, they don't lose any more of their base, just damage onto the tier 3 tower in mid. So let's watch this initiation again. It all starts with the Tiny, and then it all turns around with Karka.
Yeah, it's good play by Armel, though, because he makes himself a target. You can see he actually BKBs the Ravage, and you can't kill the Tiny. 3-man Venomancer ultimate, and look at Raven. He has no fear, and they cannot touch him. He's going to blink forwards onto Sniper right there, force the cheese, and SEC is now completely on the run. He'll finish the Tide. Sam H continues to chase down Sniper, and he's just dead in 4 hits from Raven.
Yeah, but this is... it shows the weakness of the Newbee lineup. They need the Brawlers to take the attention and give SEC free space to fight.
They just don't do enough damage is the problem. They need like 2 more items on Sniper. He needs an MKB. He's going to finish the Mjolnir. Then he needs an MKB. And then he needs a Rapier.
And then they also need Terrorblade to be the man who gets caught. They actually lost their gem too during that fight, I believe.
Yeah, met up in 30 seconds, so I'm sure they'll probably look to go again as soon as that's up.
He's setting up. It's all on the Karka with the Yule Scepter initiation of SK. The crush. It connects on the Venomancer. A quick little veil, and, well, KP tossed back into him. He doesn't have Ravage for 13 seconds. Mugi tries to lend a stun. KP has buyback, so he will need to expend this to defend. 7 seconds till Ravage is up. The Venomancer just goes in so deep. It's Nova that gets stolen, returned by Faith all over TNC. They'll have to shallow grave and regenerate. As they just push Sam H further and further away, the assassination! As CCC was able to reach him, they pushed and pushed and pushed. But they couldn't stop him. Now Mugi. BKB's up, so many Ravens. He's still got Sunder available and the damage output. Ravens just too much. There's the Sunder swap over on KP. All the buyback, never got the Ravage, and this looks like a done dinner. Cooked to perfection for TNC. You can buy back on the sniper, but you've got no other real friends that can help defend this. Cuckoo Shallow Grave protected from the assassination, and there it is. GG, well played. TNC now 2 up in this tiebreaker, while the rest of the teams are bouncing around. LGD, to spoiler alert, in case you weren't watching the other stream, LGD actually took the victory over Team Liquid as well. So it's Liquid and Optic in the bottom of this group, and TNC all the way up there where the air is crisp.
Armel and Raven combined to go 28, 1, and 19. And I got to say, after watching them beat Optic and Newbee, who I think are like 2 of the stronger teams in this tiebreaker, they look dominant and very possibly the best team in this group.
How the hell are they actually 28-1?
They were both beyond godlike at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And that's the TNC style right there. Everybody kind of just like plays around their movements, and when Raven and Armel are on point, they're 2 of probably the best 5, maybe even the best 3 players in SEA.
Yeah, I always like the class Raven as my guy. I had it as my fantasy team at every TI, just because I was always guaranteed the ability to get like over 30 points for every single game that he played.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. Even for Tim's when he plays his ES, like it was like stun points all the way up. They're just so heavily involved in every single fight, and it is a beautiful synergy to play from TNC. And I believe that only puts them a couple of games away. I say a couple of games, maybe even 1 win at this rate, away from taking the top of it. But the man who has the answers and all the numbers and all the facts is Red Eye and the panel.
Thanks, Toby. I'm not sure I have all the answers, that's for sure. What's the meaning of life, for instance? No idea. However, I can tell you TNC are just 1 win away from being in the top 2 to join their fellow SEA team Mineski from the other group, who also made the top 2 in Group B. What a complete turnaround in their day as well. Let's get some thoughts from our panel members. Fog, this morning, TNC went into their game knowing that if they lost, they would be in a tiebreaker potentially with OG to stay in the tournament. They won that game, and now they've won 2 straight against 2 good teams, and now on the verge of finishing in the top 2. What an extraordinary turnaround.
I mean, we were kind of talking about it. They've been playing much better every single game. Like their warding, even in this game again, absolutely on point. The drafting's been getting crisper. Just everything is working in together, and Armel has really been just carrying that torch for Cuckoo. Like that replacement for him in like at least that mid lane role, he's been like pretty much flawless.
Yeah, it's been a great turnaround, and I guess being an SEA fan, Winty, you must be quite happy.
Yeah, good. Happy for them. Looking really good here. And, you know, everyone's clicking, just on point. Never been this happy watching TNC. They've improved a lot over the course, but since Genting, when they swapped out T-Ben, it was like 2 months ago.
Yep.
This is the strongest they've looked.
Yeah, and they've definitely got stronger every day, Jack, haven't they, here? We've seen it. Day by day, they've seemingly got better.
Yeah, feels like they made some adjustments. I think, again, as a team that stylistically wants to fight all the time, they see these other teams' answers to them. Sometimes they have to be a little bit more patient, or sometimes they take the space that's created by their playstyle and use that to farm and kind of secure these wins instead of just it's also a little bit like the old, the kind of VP, right? Because there was a stretch of time where it's like, hey, VP's like super aggressive, but they'll force things, they'll lack balance, they'll end up like throwing games sometimes on the back of that as well. And then VP kind of figures it out, or they change up a little bit. And now you have this like very carefully measured aggression. That's kind of what this game felt like. For Newbee, it was a situation where the lineup has a lot of synergy, but they need to take frontal fights like with like consistent positioning in the ults. But for TNC, again, like they have a huge advantage fighting out in the open because the sniper needs to be protected. So I think they leverage that very well in terms of vision, Roshans, and in terms of sieging high ground as well.
I also think they, like the draft for me, I look at TNC's and they have really traditional ways to just take objectives and take towers, while Newbees, they don't really have a big tower pusher or great ways to actually clear waves. So once TNC's gets the ball rolling and they're set up on these towers, it looks really difficult for Newbee to actually get the good fight going. And I mean, KP really struggled in this game. I was looking and I was like, oh my goodness, he's 0-3-0 at one point, and that's when, I mean, it was like they're almost 30 minutes in. He wasn't able to actually get involved for his team. That was, I mean, very systematic by TNC.
20 minutes.
Was it 20?
No, 20 minutes was how long it took to use his first Ravage in the game. That was how badly they were getting like outmaneuvered. That's why I stress on the importance of like you need like some vision hero to play against this kind of high pace team. Like it's very difficult for them to move around the map when they're always like relying on this big ultimates, the Monkey King ulti, the Tide ulti, and just TNC placing good wards, understanding where the opponents are, and just moving around everything perfectly.
MVP?
Armel?
Should we just give it to him automatically every game now?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can just give it to Armel. It was for me. It was like between Armel and Raven. They both Raven got like a 15-minute Manta style. He skipped Dragonlance. He was just this absolute beast. But I mean, yeah, I can give it to Armel.
Okay, 14-1 and 12 for Armel. Raven 14-0 and 7.
Unbelievable.
On the Terrorblade as well. 27k damage done by Armel on the Tiny.
SamH was the punching bag in this game.
Yeah, this is what your scores look like when you have a clean game. Like your two cores don't really die almost at all. They do the bulk of the damage and they have very good ratios. And then you have someone who usually has to eat the brunt of the damage in some of these fights. That end up being SamH. And then you have your initiators as well, right? So I would have given it possibly to Tim's as well, because he had to set up a lot of those kind of early rotations, scare Newbee off, and help secure the lanes, and he did a nice job of that.
Yep, there it is. MVP confirmed. It is Armel again. It's also worth checking in with our standings, I think, and showing you where everything is right now, because I know it's a little bit tricky to follow. So this is the tiebreaker standings alone. We don't need to worry about the group, as it were. These are basically the top 5 teams from Group A in order. The top 2 will advance to the second round of the upper bracket. The other 3 will go into the first round of the bracket and the best of 1. So at the moment, that's Newbee, Liquid, and Optic, incredibly. TNC with 2-0. LGD right now having just beaten in the last few minutes Team Liquid, and again Liquid in that same position as Optic, really. Fog, one win this morning would have stopped this nonsense for both of them, and they both would have been in the second round, secured in the best of 3s in the upper bracket of the main event. And one game, and now they find themselves at the bottom of this group, could end up with a much tougher game as well.
And that kind of thing can dwell on you, right? You can just keep thinking about it, like, why did we do this? Why didn't we just win our damn first game?
No,
to avoid all this. Now it's in the back of their heads.
Can't remember who it was from the Chinese team, but they were talking about it in the green room, and they said, you know, it seems strange that all they had to do is beat Keen, the worst team in the group. That's all Optic had to do this morning. Just shows you how it can turn around. TNC now top of the table and 1 game away from going through. We're going to take a quick break. More to come, of course, from the tiebreakers. We've still got 4 more on this stream.